What is going on, YouTube? Brandon Griggs here at Keynote Comics, and if you already know, this is the place where you can discover comic books and comic book related content.
Even if you don't already know.
Yeah, that. Now, this is a video that we should have been doing for a while, but we just never got around to doing things like this.
One.
Did we?
Yeah.
Did we?
Yeah.
What was it?
Under 50.
Under 50, but this is a little bit different because we're not really specifying books by, price point or anything like this. This is just spec books, okay? Now, I want to say, since, in honor of the Book of Boba Fett being released, that I was like, I think this is time that we do one on Star Wars. You know how Slan is. He does not like the Star War. Yes, like I said that correctly. Star War. Not Star Wars, but Star War.
Good job.
That's right?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. You see? But this is my books that I've been specking on, and I've said many times on the channel. Some of them are new, some of them are old, but I wanted to clarify and make a list and let you guys know these are the books that I'm not necessarily saying that you need to go out and buy, but these are books that I am buying, and these are books that I am going to say that you need to keep your eyes out for. So, to start this list off, we're going to start with Star Wars number 7. Now, this is from a 1999 run, I believe, is the time of when it was released. And this particular book, has the first appearance of Aurora Singh and the first appearance of Sharad Het. Now, I'm not telling you guys to keep an eye on this book specifically for Sharad Het, because there is word that, his son Sharad Het is going to be coming to the Disney Plus at some point. What series, we don't know. I've been thinking that it may potentially be the Book of Boba Fett after watching the first episode. Maybe a spoiler, may not be a spoiler. It's something that we're going to see, and I'll get to more information once we get to his appearance book. But this particular book for number 7 is for Aurora Singh. Now, if you guys are not familiar with who Aurora Singh is, she is a bounty hunter, but she's just not a regular bounty hunter. She is a bounty hunter that has consistently gone to Tatooine, where we know the Book of Boba Fett takes place. Her being a bounty hunter, and then on top of that, she has connection to the Jedi because she used to be a Jedi apprentice. Now, Aurora Singh has been used in many things over the times. I remember when I was young and she was in a game for the Nintendo 64, okay? I can't remember what the particular game was called, but she's been used in many properties. So she's had action figures, she's been in video games, and she's been in plenty of books as well. So this is one of the reasons why I'm telling you guys, keep an eye on that book. She may turn up because she's also connected to Sharad Het's story, which means if he's coming, she's probably going to show up as well. Now, moving on to the next book would be Star Wars 10 from that same series, and this is the first appearance of Sharad Het. Now, for those that do not know who Sharad Het is, he is a human who was raised basically with the Tusken Raiders, aka the Sand People. Now, his father, Sharad Het, was a former Jedi who exiled himself and went back to Tatooine and basically decided he was going to take it upon himself to lead the Sand People. He thought that they were kind of savages, so he kind of wanted to bring more order to them in a way. And, of course, he had his son, and his son was raised among the Sand People. Now, why is Sharad Het so important? Well, we get down to his story of not only him having the connection to the Tusken Raiders and the Sand People, but he ends up building a relationship with Anakin Skywalker. Now, if some of you are probably thinking, oh, that's kind of wild. Anakin Skywalker's mother was killed by the Sand People, which I'm going to tell you, they didn't click right away. This is something that ended up having to be built over the relationship. And this happened during the Clone Wars era, so we might get to see a little bit of that stuff. And I think, going forward with news of, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, originally he was supposed to be the villain because later on in the future he does become Darth Krayt. Now, this is going to potentially be a spoiler alert. So, I don't know if we're going to put something there, but we'll count in 3, 2, 1. Now, I had been specking on Sharad Het for a while. I've told you guys this plenty of times. Now, watch the first episode of the Book of Boba Fett. Okay? there's a character that ends up popping up. We don't get a character's name or anything, but you can clearly tell that this character stands out, and it's a person that is basically the leader of this group of sand people that Boba Fett basically runs into. Now, I keep looking and I'm just like, all right, so why are they doing this? Well, if you think about the timeline of where they're currently at in the series, this would make the perfect time for them to introduce Asherad Het, who I believe, based off the timeline, would make more sense that it is him when he returns from leaving the Jedi to come back to Tatooine. So once his father was killed, Sharad Het was, killed. He leaves and he goes and joins the Jedi. He does a little thing with them for a bit, and then he eventually exiles himself and comes back to Tatooine to reclaim, his role that his father took with leading the Sand People. So I believe this is where we are where he is currently at in the Book of Boba Fett. Now, the actor that plays the character, or what I guess they have him listed as on IMDb, is Tusken Raider Chief, I believe. What is his name? Xavier Jimenez. Now, the actor Xavier Jimenez, he made a post on Instagram, and it was of him dressed up as the Tusken Raider for the Book of Boba Fett. Now, I left a comment under there and saying, Asherad Het, let's go, fire emojis, 3 fire emojis, and he liked it. Now, this is not a complete confirmation saying, oh, that is him, but something to keep in mind. It's a high possibility. So do expect that to probably be announced maybe by the next episode or the one after that. We will see. Now, moving further on after that, we're going to go to Star Wars Jedi Knights, or Star Wars Tales, Star Wars Tales of the Jedi Knights, Dark Lords of the Sith. Now, I know as of late, a Star Wars Tales book, which is Star Wars Tales #1, has spiked, and it's caught a lot of people's attention due to a situation with a giveaway that was given to people at Lucasfilms and it has like a list of projects that they are either currently working on or had worked on or whatever it might be, and Star Wars Tales ended up coming up, and so that issue 1 book is spiking. Now, I want to tell a lot of people to be very careful when it comes to buying that particular book, because who knows what's inside it. Last time I checked, it's not listed as a key issue. Now, I have not read the series, so I cannot confirm, and it may actually have potential characters that I'm not aware of, and it could potentially have some weight to it. But that is not the Star Wars Tales book that I would, suggest or tell people to necessarily keep an eye out for. Now, this one, and for Star Wars Tales of the Jedi Knight, Star Wars Tales of the Jedi Knight, Dark Lords of the Sith, issue #4, is the first appearance of Exar Kun. Now, for those that aren't familiar with Exar Kun, he is a former Jedi, later becomes a Sith Lord. And the reason why I'm saying to keep an eye out on that book is based off of how far back, they're talking about going within this, the whole Star Wars series, series and everything. And basically, one thing to keep in mind, they are moving in a direction where they are planting seeds here and there, and they're making small announcements and letting us know certain things that you can kind of start putting the pieces together a little bit. Not enough to get a full picture, but enough to start kind of gathering ideas. One of the things that has been announced is that, Revan is canon in the Star Wars universe based off of the last movie. Now, why am I saying that? Well, Revan takes a trip. If you've ever played the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic video game, Revan has to take a trip to the Sith home planet, where he has to go through a temple and he has to take a test. And then that test is basically a situation where he has to, be able to go through the history of the Sith. And one of those Sith is Exar Kun. And there's a lot more to Exar Kun, that I could say about him, but I want you guys to kind of go out there and do your own little research on it. This is, again, me just saying this is something I think people should keep an eye out on, not necessarily yet that I can say, hey, this is actually going to be used. But it makes sense because one of the things that they have already announced is that they're going to be redoing the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic video game. And with that happening, that means that there's going to be a brand new exposure to these characters like this. And who knows, they're not even just remastering the game, they're completely redoing the game. So they might even add certain things that were not in the original game, and that means you could get more exposure to learning more about Exar Kun and stuff like that. Next book after that would be Star Wars Tales of the Jedi, The Golden Age of the Sith, #2. Now this has to be, it's basically the same thing, same exact reason, going to be based off of how important these characters are as far as them becoming former Jedis turned Sith, and them also having the role playing in that Knights of the Old Republic series. Now, of course, these characters go before, Knights of the Old Republic, but the fact is that they exist, and like I said, we know that they're going to be going back, far back into the Star Wars universe, and this is a possibility that we can see these characters. But this particular book has the first appearance of Nagasato and Ludo Crest, who are both very important Sith Lords, former Jedis that, again, you want to look up these characters, you can definitely do that, and you can kind of gauge for yourself whether or not you think this is a worthy book to spec on. Now, next book after that is going to be Star Wars Tales of the Jedi Sith Wars #1, and this is the first appearance of Mandalore the Indomitable. Alright, now, we know we have the show Mando. You guys know that I'm a fan of Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. I think I'm making this very clear by now, and especially if you haven't heard me say it many times already through this channel and everything. But Mandalore is very important. Now, in the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic video game, you play as Revan. Revan ends up becoming friends with a Mandalorian who end up becoming Mandalore. And even though he may not particularly be Mandalore the Indomitable, there's multiple different Mandalores, but of course we're going to be watching Mandalorian, and I'm pretty sure they're going to start touching up on more stuff with the Mandalore stories and everything like that, and especially with the dark saber, which people may not necessarily know that the dark saber is related to the Mandalorians just because it used to belong to a Mandalorian who eventually had become a Jedi and pretty much brought the Jedi and the Mandalorians together. Now, those that know are not familiar with Revan will be informed that Revan pretty much fought against the Mandalorian. He fought with some Mandalorians, actually, matter of fact. He fought with Mandalorians in a great war that is kind of hard for me to kind of go through that whole entire story. But because of that, I'm specking on anything Mandalore. So anything Mandalore related, I'm like, hey, you guys should definitely keep an eye out on that. Which leads us to the next book, which is Star Wars Tales of the Jedi, the Sith War #6, and that is the first appearance of Mandalore the Ultimate. So same reason I said about Mandalore the Indomitable, the same thing I'm going to say about Mandalore the Ultimate. So if you see anything, first appearance of Mandalore, definitely keep your eyes on those books. And if you happen to find them for the right price, why not pick them up? I was able to pick up 2 copies already Actually, no, I have not picked up 2 copies yet. I'm keeping my eye out for those. So I have a couple copies. So I have the copy of the issue 2 for the Golden Age of the Sith. Alright. And then I have a copy of the the Dark Lords of the Sith. So, right here. And I'm getting sidetracked at this point, but I'm going to go ahead and say this right here is the first appearance of Asherad Het. Now, this book is not necessarily easy to get in high grade, so definitely be on the lookout and try to find the best possible grade or best possible condition you can find as far as a high grade going. And I mean, why not? The the cover is fire. You get a first full appearance of a dope character and a dope cover, so can't really go wrong with that. And so next book after that is going to be Star Wars number 23. So this is actually, or Star Wars Tales number 23. Now this has actually been the book that I had originally wanted because I thought it was the only appearance of Revan at the time until I started looking more into, the Star Wars books. Revan is one of my favorite Star Wars characters of all time, simply because of the Star Wars and the Knights of the Old Republic video game. So if you have never played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic and you do like RPG games, I definitely suggest it. Or you can just wait until they remake the game and play the new one. But this is the variant cover. And this is basically it basically took a shot from the Star Wars movie, but this is Wedge Antilles. And in this book is the first appearance of Revan, or Darth Revan, Darth Malak, and Bastila. And Bastila is how do we say it? Revan is the main character that you play as in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Malak is Revan's former apprentice that ends up becoming, the one in charge of the Sith Order and everything like that. And Bastila ends up becoming a love interest / former Jedi. I forgot what she is. I don't know if she's a Jedi Sentinel or something like that, but she's a really dope character. Uses a double-bladed lightsaber, but that is their cameo appearances in this particular book. And with that said, last two books would be Star Wars Tales 24, and this is the first appearance of Darth Nihilus. It's also listed to be the first appearance of Darth Traya, and I believe it is also the first appearance of Visamur. And these characters are actually from Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic 2. So not the first one, but the second one. And Darth Nihilus is just a really badass, Sith Lord. I don't even know how to even explain it. His actually, can you hand me the game over there? But you'll recognize this character if you ever see him in anything, because he's got a very distinct look because of his mask. And even though when I played him in the video game he didn't seem to be as badass, the point is that the character is basically strong enough in the Force that he basically keeps all his fallen ships that are so brutally damaged intact just by using the Force alone. So if he let go using the Force on these ships, they just completely fall apart. But he's using the Force to keep them, and it's a whole army. But this is the character right here, and you see him on the cover with his mask. And then you can see, actually, I can't remember all these characters in here, but you do have Kreia, aka Darth Traya, right here, and you see her right here with the green lightsaber. And Visamur is basically Darth Nihilus's apprentice, who you basically end up taking with you once you end up beating him. And she's basically blind, but she uses the Force because the people from her planet are all blind, and they use the Force to basically see. So that is something else to keep an eye out. And then I'm going to take this final book, which is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic number 9. And this is the first full appearance of Revan. Now, I've talked about this book because I was able to read it online. And one of the things I noticed from reading it is that you don't really get to see Revan. It is his first full appearance for sure. You kind of got to use your context clues of knowing about the character and this whole Star Wars universe to kind of put it together that is him. But there is no face that you get to see. You kind of just get to see a piece of cloak standing in front of the council as they're talking to him, and then you kind of get to see the back of him while the characters from the story or a particular story are talking to him, and you just see the back of him. He's kind of walking away. So those are my top spec books for Star Wars that I think you guys should keep an eye out on. If you find them for a good price, definitely pick them up. They do have long-term potential, and I'm just going to leave it like that. If you watched this video and you like the information that you've gained, be sure to like and subscribe. Or if you already subscribed, make sure you definitely have that notification bell set. We are approaching our 500 subscribers. We're currently at 492. And when we do that, as usual, we're going to be giving out a giveaway. And then we'll do our next giveaway after 500 once we reach 1,000. So, as usual, guys, keep us locked in, and I'll see you later.